Welcome back to Oran Park, folks, for the launch of an exciting new open wheeler category, the Australian Formula 3 Championship, a truly international category for open wheeler cars to be run over 2 races today on the Oran Park long circuit, 2.62 kilometres in length. And here's Greg Rust.
Well, we've got some dramas before we even get the race underway. Rod Anderson, the Victorian there, gets the car running, but he will join them at the very back of the grid. Peter Hackett, the pole man. We had some wet conditions during the second qualifying session. He's emerged with the fastest time. Darren Palmer will start beside him. James Manderson on the second row of the grid. Towards the rear, Mike Bealey and David Tune, Rod Anderson and Damien Digby in the car that won the series last year. The first ever round of the Australian Formula 3 National Championship. Great start by Hackett. Darren Palmer bogs it down off the line. Grant Boyden joins us in commentary, but dramas for some of them.
Yeah, Peter Rees, as you can see on screen at the moment, didn't get off the line. David Tune came very close to the back of him, and here's James Manderson and Peter Hackett battling for the lead down in turn 1.
Into turn 1, the 2.62 kilometre Oran Park circuit, and Peter Hackett in the Piccola Scuderia course entry. The Alfa Romeo powered car is in the lead. Good recovery as well by Darren Palmer.
Yeah, he didn't get off the line all that well, had problems during many of the practice sessions with trying to get this car going, finds himself in 3rd position, needs to be there. He is a championship hope in the year 2001.
Over the bridge for the first time, and it's Hackett leading the way. This guy is incredibly quick, no doubt about it. In 2nd position, Manderson. 3rd is the first of the Bronte Runtle motorsport entries, and that's in the hands of Darren Palmer.
Yeah, his teammates a lot further back in the field at the moment, Dainham Templeman, and it's a shame because Bronte Rundle do prepare cars that are very, very similar out on the track. And look at this battle going on further back in the field too. And we've got David Tune that spun off on the track, spun off onto the infield at the moment, brings the power down, tries to get the car back out onto the racetrack, but is unable to do so at the moment. As you can see, these cars, Greg, are very low to the ground, and once you're out on the dirt, very hard to get them going in a forward direction.
Well, Tune has lost a stack of ground, hasn't he? But the man who's making some ground is our leader, Peter Hackett. He's pulled out a good 8 to 10 car lengths on 2nd place Manderson, and Manderson's got his own series of dramas because Palmer is right there.
Yeah, he's got to keep his eyes in the mirrors as well as looking ahead and try and get round a very, very determined Peter Hackett. Definitely one of the short price favourites to take out this championship. And here comes Dainham Templeman. He is charging through the field on the tail of Chris Coombs at the moment, down in the tight, twisty section of Oran Park.
Looks like Bealey might be tucked in behind him there, so it's a real good battle going on here. Dainham Templeman, can he get past? That is the question. Coombs, car 22, the predominantly silver car that you can see there. There's Dainham in the blue entry, the second out of the garage run by Bronte Rundle.
Very impressed with Dainham Templeman so far this season. This is his first outing and his first time at Oran Park. All the championship races that he will contest this year, he's never been to any of the tracks before, and he is driving an absolute blinder in the Bronte Rundle Motorsport prepared Dallara.
The Kiwi has some experience in open wheelers, both on home turf in New Zealand, but he's also spent a bit of time in Asia. Now he's starting to make a move here. Got a great run out of that final turn, and the slingshot gets past him beautifully.
Can he hold it going down into turn 1? Chris is trying very hard to find a way around. Leaves it late on the braking.
Coombs is in trouble there. He's got it all crossed up as they came down into that first turn.
Just tried to carry just a little bit too much speed through, and the back of the car stepped out. And in a Formula 3, once it starts to let go, it's all over Joe.
Peter Hackett continues to lead the field here. Car looking really smooth on the circuit too, but it looks as though Manderson may have made up some ground.
Yeah, he certainly does appear to be getting a little bit closer to the back of the Piccola Scuderia car. He's doing a great job. James Manderson, one of the youngest runners in the field, as we watch a replay now of Chris Coombs coming down the back of the car, stepping out. Basically from there on, he's a passenger all the way out into the dirt.
Wonder if he got in there just a little too hot and possibly late under brakes. Maybe the bias of the car set up too much towards the rear, and that inertia has thrown the back end of the car around, and from there he was a passenger.
Graham Holmes on screen at the moment, making his way down through this very, very tough and demanding left-hander at Oran Park. The back of the car wants to step out there. You've got to be very good on the throttle, and he's doing a great job. So too Rod Anderson, making his way down into Momo Corner.
This is a terrific championship, and we've talked a little bit about it in the past, but the thing with it is it's going to provide another stepping stone or leapfrog for some young Aussies who perhaps have come up through the Formula Ford and karting stables that are looking to carve a career for themselves in England.
Well, on screen at the moment, there's a good little battle between Mike Bealey and the predominantly black car, and the car that took out the National Series last year, Damien Digby, sitting in right behind him. Damien's taking the drive away from Paul Stevenson this year, who took out the series. And as you said, look at James Manderson. He's right on the tail now of Peter Hackett with some debris out on the racetrack.
I wonder what is slowing up the pace of Peter Hackett. He was in a commanding position in the early stages of this race. Now Manderson really throwing out a challenge up out of that final turn, which brings them onto the front straight, and Manderson is awfully close. In the slipstream, he dives to the inside. Can he get down by Peter Hackett in turn one? A treacherous part of the track, neck and neck between the two of them. Manderson does it, oh, brilliantly. Sideways, though. He's got it all crossed up.
I think you'll find they've actually touched too, Greg. Have a look at the front wing of Peter Hackett's car. On the right-hand side, it just looks to be bent out of shape a little bit. Now, that'll cause big problems. Big problems with understeer. I think you're right. There is some damage there to the front right. Hackett resumes in the lead. That was incredible. Both cars, no one wanted to give as they came down into that final turn. Well, the great thing about this is whoever takes out the national championship in Formula 3 this year will get a drive to England. And as you can see, they are using every piece of the racetrack and a little bit more to try and pick up that ride over to England. Looks as though he got down there, he took the tight inside line on the entry to the corner, but with all that speed he was carrying, he ran wide and off into the marbles and on the white line. Now Manderson has another look. Hackett playing defensive in a car that's not handling the best now after that contact with the front wing. Look at the damage to the front right. Yeah, a lot of mid-corner understeer there, and James Manderson now having another go down the inside as they go down. Let's see if he can hold it this time. They come down to the braking area. James leaves it late, out again, out into the dirt. Oh my goodness, there's the front wing going off the car. Can you believe it? That is a replay of exactly what happened a lap beforehand. So Manderson has done a lot of damage to the front nose cone, and both of these cars sporting some damage. Who will be able to get it to the finish? Well, if he was having problems with understeer before, he certainly will now. No pressure whatsoever on the front wing for James Manderson, and as a result of that, he will be just sliding through all of these corners. Watch the car. There's the debris. There's his front wing sitting out on the racetrack at the moment. Let's have a closer look at this on the replay. Manderson does exactly the same thing as last time. Very late under brakes, tight on the apex, runs wide, off into the marbles, and the car gets sideways. This time, though, Hackett, who on the previous lap went over and under and managed to almost avoid him, sustains a bit more damage. And what about Manderson's car? Yeah, certainly Peter Hackett got problems with the side pods at the moment. That's where James went in. Look at his car. There goes Damien Digby. I wonder if he stepped onto a little bit of that debris left out on the racetrack. Damien's first go in the Formula 3 Championship, and welcome to it. A wild and woolly way. Well, I tell you what, there is going to be a lot of work to do for the teams here at Oran Park this afternoon. Darren Palmer now in a position to pounce too, because both of these cars are struggling in the handling department. Look at him diving down the inside of Manderson. Manderson's the meat in the sandwich here on the outside. To the extreme left of your screen is Peter Hackett. Manderson holds the line. Thought I saw a yellow flag out there, Greg. I might be wrong, but I thought I saw a yellow flag coming down the main straight. That's why Darren Palmer stepped out of it. Well, if that's the case, I wonder if Manderson might be in a bit of trouble, because he's taken the lead away from Peter Hackett. Now we've got a red flag on display in the background there, so there's been an incident on the circuit. Red flag on display. Darren Palmer lifts his hand in the car to let everybody know that he's seen the red flag, and that will mean that Peter Hackett will take out the win in race 1 here at Oran Park. Yep, word through from officials. We've completed more than 75% race distance, so Hackett is your race winner from Manderson. Darren Palmer gets home in 3rd position. Further back through the field, Smith. Brett Douglas getting home in 12th there. David Tune, who had some dramas, a non-finisher in 13th.
Okay, we're with Peter Hackett, winner of race 1. Peter, tell us a little bit about the race.
Yeah, it was a bit rough and tumble. It was a great job by the team to get the car back together. We started from pole. Yesterday we had a really good run in the rain. We qualified on pole by over 2 seconds, and in the second session we were a little bit dry. The dry setup wasn't so good. We're struggling a bit with grip at the front in the dry, and we were a little bit slower coming onto the straight and things like that. So James had a bit of a run at me at the end of the straight. I knew that from where we were he wasn't going to get through the corner. I tried to go back on him, and he came back across in front of me and took out a front wing from that. From there it made it really difficult, and then it happened a second time. I just put myself in the wrong place, but fortunately the race was declared. There was rubbish everywhere, and it's a great effort from Cactus Team Formula 3.